How was that for timing? It will be available, this whole session will be available along with all the other sessions on the district's YouTube page. And I will send that link out to you once it's up there. And no, I am not the person who's working the magic on that end. So don't think I am a technology whiz. All I know how to do is push the record buttons and then send it on to our genius who does that for us. Okay. So having said that, we're not going to do introductions. You all have pictures on the screen and you can see who's here. And so with that, Craig, would you like to take it over and start?
I certainly will. Thank you, Marilyn. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 2022 district membership presentation. I've done the same one. So if you're already at Southwest Pets, I'm kind of going over the same slides. However, the numbers are a little bit different now. For me personally, I am a member of the Rotary Club of Temecula, the Noon Club. We have a membership right now, right around 106. I have been a member of that club and a Rotarian now since January of 2013. So it's been, you know, we're in the 9th year and I love it. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love it. So what I'd like to do is to go ahead and go through this presentation. There's only about 11 slides here. And from then, after my presentation, I'm going to bring in Judy Zolfaker, who is a member of my club and also now on the governor line and the current membership chair for our club. I'm going to have her give best practices from our club. And I'd also like Amy Laboda to do the same thing for Palm Desert, because Palm Desert has been doing a fabulous job adding on members here the past 6 months. Okay. All right. So from there, I'm Craig Davis. That's the first slide. That's an old picture from when I was at Southwest Pets, I guess 3 or 4 years ago as a president. All right. So this is, for those of you, this is about passion and engagement. And you're hearing a lot about passion and engagement through Rotary these days. And it's true with anything you do. If you have passion for something, you're going to stay engaged. All right, let's go through the numbers first. Worldwide members, it's been around 1.2 million for as long as I can remember. The one difference here that you guys don't see is that we do have 200,000 Rotaract members, and they are including that now. So we're really at 1.4 million members worldwide. Big West membership is up and down just like everybody else, but it's approximately 66,000 members at this point. The Big West zone is basically zone 26 and zone 27 combined, and we are part of zone 26. District 5330 currently has 61 clubs, and it shows here 1,869 members. We're actually at 1,892 members. That went up in the 2 weeks since I sent everything over to Maryland earlier. You look at the zone map, you can kind of see that we are in 5330 down in Southern California. Zone 26 is shared with Arizona, New Mexico, portions of Texas, and going into portions of Nevada. Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff. Why we are Rotarians. So, Rotary membership growth and retention, we are people of action. Obviously, I mean, the very first bullet point here, engaged members are satisfied members. It's been kind of tough, let's be honest. We were in a pandemic. The engagement wasn't quite there with some clubs. There were a handful of clubs within our district that weren't meeting at all. Some were meeting on Zoom only and having issues with it, as many of us were at that point. A handful of us were able to do Zoom meetings, but also once things started lightening up a little bit, we were able to start meeting outside at parks and so forth. So for those those presidents like Judy, who was a immediate past president that had to deal with this last year. I know how difficult it was. Second bullet point, utilization of hybrid meetings. Ironically, I was talking to Marilyn earlier, and we had a hybrid meeting this afternoon for our club. It worked out really well. It was on a shelter box. And so the gentleman that spoke was fantastic. And if you have a good setup for a hybrid meeting, and later on when we get to questions and so forth, hopefully a handful of you are utilizing that at this point. Positive public interest, I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, we want to make sure that if we're out there in the community, that we have positive vibes going on. Relevant to community needs, that obviously came into play with COVID. You know, if you look at the picture here on this slide, this is an apartment complex that we kind of adopted over the last 2.5 years that we deliver food out to. We were delivering food there for the first 3 months of COVID, every day except for Wednesday, which was our day for our meeting day for the Rotary Club of Temecula. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we were delivering, you know, anywhere between 5 to 8 boxes per day to that senior complex. We're now wrapped it down. We're delivering once a month, about anywhere between 20 and 25 boxes. So still relevant to the community. Community awareness, you know, that comes into play with social media. I mean, social media is so important, and I'm probably I have a handful of other slides. Social media, being involved with the Chamber of Commerce, being involved with the city that your Rotary Club is directly involved with. You know, we're pretty good about letting the city of Temecula know what we're doing for the most part. There's been times where I know that Judy has gone and done presentations with the city council. I think that's important to get in front of your city council members, let them know that we're doing good things in the community. And then lastly on here, which is very important as far as growth goes for us, having a diverse membership. And that goes from age, we need to get younger. Let's be honest, you know, for me, I just had my 56th birthday when I was up on the hill for Ryla, and I'm middle of the road Rotarian age-wise. So we would like to get to that point where, you know, our average age is maybe in the 40s, but we can only do that by bringing in new members. Ethnicity, simply you look around in your community, and if you see the diversification in your community and you don't see it at your club, then we know that there's something that needs to be done there. You know, if I'm in a community and it's 40% white, 40% Hispanic, and 20% Black, then I know that, and I look at my club members and we're 80% older white people, then we know that we need to do a better job of bringing new members in. And you know, that's kind of tough for Rotarians that have been doing this for a while. The tough aspect of it is bringing people in, because they're used to their clubs, the memberships. A lot of these Rotary clubs will have people that have been presidents 2, 3, 4, even 5 times throughout the years. So I want to really let you guys know that's the importance of bringing in new blood and just giving people that chance. Gender is a no-brainer. I mean, we're 50-50 down the line, just about. I think in the United States, it's probably 51-49, maybe 52-48 to women over men. If you look at your club and your majority of men, then something needs to be done. So, and then I added in the numbers available through the city and or your local chamber. So you can get all these numbers. It's pretty easy to get. So, but for the most part, if you've been in the community for a while, you know what your numbers are. So, but basically, you know, that last sentence there, our club should be a mirror image out of our community. And that's the best way to grow. Oops. Okay. So awesome signature event program. You know, as you guys know, we do a lot of different things within our communities. It's really important that you have one signature event that you guys will do for the most part every year. If you look at these boxes here, this is our past signature event through the Rotary Club of Temecula. And every year for, I believe we're on the 24th year right now, we deliver food boxes to approximately anywhere between 350 to 425 families. This year we delivered to 425 local Temecula Valley families, all the fixings you would have for Thanksgiving. You can see that in the box, and not included in that box right now, the following day we had turkey, and you know, we delivered those out, and the community gets involved, which is kind of neat. So getting that signature event, not only do we have the Rotarians involved, we have our community involved too. So we have a lot of members that are friends outside of our Rotary Club, whether it be chamber members or other Rotary members or other service organizations throughout our valley. Great leaders, that's a no-brainer. I mean, to have a great club, you got to have great leaders, and that's another reason why it's so important to make sure that you have new members coming in, so you can get some fresh ideas each year. Engaging speakers. We had somebody from Shelter Box today. He was very engaging, and even though it was on Zoom and we were hybrid, it was very interesting. Fun meetings. That is extremely important. You know, if you want to grow and bring in new people and you have a meeting and there's not much fun to it, I guarantee it's going to be tough to get people to come back out again. One other thing, and I don't think I have it on any of these slides, but the importance of when you're having any type of service projects, to make sure that's the time you invite people out to your club, not necessarily during the meetings. The meetings are important because that's why I said it's imperative that you make it fun, but that's when you're going to bring people in, is when you get people out on a service project. And then fun members. With fun meetings comes fun members and so forth. So, you know, a lot of us add number 5 to our 4-way test. And, you know, number 5 is, will it be fun or is it fun? So that's why I make sure that I have that on there. All right. So I like to ask people, you know, so why did you join Rotary? You know, what is your passion? And, you know, whether to meet other people, the fellowship aspect of it. Some people, you know, it's to be around other like-minded individuals for business or what have you. But, you know, there's so many different varieties of way to help within our organization of Rotary, whether it be international service or community service or youth service. I told you guys I just got back, you know, I went to RILA, which for those of you who don't know, it's Rotary Youth Leadership Awards up in Crestline. I had a blast with all the 16 and 18-year-old kids. You know, that's one of my passions. Membership. Obviously, I'm the membership director for our district, and majority of you are either incoming presidents or your membership directors. PR, public relations. There's so many different things going all the way down the line to foundation, vocational, and then of course it's important that if we're doing all these things, that we have a fundraising mechanism to it for our ways and means. So, you know, it's great that there's a lot of things we can do within our community, but we can't go out and do all these fun things and help people if we don't raise money. So that's why, for me, I make sure that ways and means is on there as well. So engagement, you know, engagement is not just about your current members, but it's also important that you're engaging with members that you're bringing in right now. So for me, if I bring in a new membership, or new member within our membership, we have probably, oh gosh, I think 5, 6, 7 different ways to serve within in fact, I think it's 8 now, 8 different ways to serve within our own club. And we, as a club, try to get these red badgers started right away. We try to get them involved with some type of committee. And I'm going to have Judy Zolfaker, my membership director, talk about that a little bit later. And I'm sure Amy's going to have something similar. So you have the new members that are coming in. It's important to get them engaged. And then you have Rotarians that have been around for, 10 plus years that may have gone through a little bit of burnout at some period. And maybe they're at that point where they show up to your meetings, your weekly meetings, but they're maybe not doing much as far as service projects and everything else goes. They might be writing checks and everything, which is great, but maybe they haven't gotten to that point where they felt like they're willing to get engaged again. And maybe because they don't feel they're feeling left out or something. Okay. And it was really important. I can tell you guys right now, the year that I was president, I know that Judy's done the same thing, and other Rotarians on this call. It's really important to get those people that were engaged a lot at some point back in the game. So anyways, lastly, service above self through community service and fellowship are the biggest reasons people join Rotary. People maintain their membership when they stay engaged. And those are the new Rotarians and those that have been around for a while. All right, so I'm going to go over my own Rotary passion, because I'd like to share what makes me tick, what I love about our club and what I love about Rotary. And first and foremost for me, it's community service. When I joined Rotary back in 2013, January of 2013, I was a youth baseball coach and basketball coach, and I just loved coaching. And I kind of got to a point where we had a friend of mine, since passed away, but he's a former Rotarian. Bruce Kripe said, Craig, you need to get involved with our club, and you need to come and visit at some point. Not only that, but my wife basically kicked me out of the office because she needed me to find something to do outside of working side by side with her and her agency. So for me, it's community service. And with that, we have a senior outreach committee. We also have, which was formerly our homeless committee, which is our bridge committee, building, restoring, initiating, developing, growing, empowering committee. Basically, that is, we work directly with the city and other nonprofits within our community. We have a military outreach committee. We have those holiday boxes I talked about during Thanksgiving. And then during Christmas, those same families, if you look at the bikes and the glad bags there in the back that are full of toys and so forth, those same families that we deliver food to, we end up delivering Christmas toys to kids within the community. They're on that same list. So that is our big signature event, which me and another good buddy of mine have been co-chairs of for the past 7 years. Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, Riley, I just told you, I just returned. I love doing that. Rotaract for our club was implemented about 3 years ago at the end of my presidency. And we're trying to get that on track. I've got a couple gals that are doing a fantastic job, but we're having a hard time growing that. But I've been meeting with past District Governor Manzoor and a handful of other people. We're trying to get that rolling. Then, of course, my district involvement here. So that is the majority of my passion. Whoa, what happened there? And then, with us, we have, we collaborate with the 3 other Temecula clubs. So there's 4 of us all together for our annual Christmas dinner. It's done on Christmas Day at the Mary Phillips Senior Center here in Temecula, right in downtown Old Town. And in the past, we've fed up to 1,500 individuals, and it's on Christmas Day. We try to get as many Rotarians involved throughout the valley, not just the Temecula clubs, but a handful of Wildemar and Murrieta Rotarians also come in and help somewhat as well. I've had the pleasure of handling the Santa room as a photographer, and I've seen the same 7 or 8 families coming out the past 7 years, not seven, past 7 years. I've seen the same families come back through, taking pictures. So I've seen kids growing up. These 2 young kids that are sitting on my buddy Dale's lap, Santa Dale. That was their 3rd year in a row coming out. So it's just another way for us to be in front of the community. And it wasn't just for senior citizens. It's not just for people that are struggling for food during Christmas time, but it's just people that need somewhere to go. And it's, this is probably, and it's on Christmas Day. So it's probably one of the greatest things that we do as a collaboration between the 4 clubs. And then lastly, I like to talk about, passion. Let's re-engage. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. And that was a quote from Harriet Tubman. And that's what I have right there. That's my passion. That's what I see with Rotary. And as far as Marilyn, well, first thing I'm going to do before I open it to questions, I'm going to bring in Judy Zulfiker. I'm going to give her an opportunity to talk about best practices we have within our club. I'd like Amy to do the same. And then I'm going to open up the questions for all of us. So are we good with that? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Judy.
Hi there.
Introduce yourself. All right. Hi, Judy. So Judy's amazing. She's an amazing leader. She's, like I said, our immediate past president. She does a fantastic job with membership. And I asked her about a month ago to make sure that she's around to help me out here. And she's always there for me. So thank you, Judy.
Well, thank you, Craig, for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm honored to be able to speak with all of these wonderful incoming presidents and incoming membership directors. What Craig didn't tell you is that I thought it was a month ago that we were going to have this little training session. And so we both went into a panic last month on the 13th going, wait a second, am I supposed to be somewhere? But yes, thank you so much for letting me be here. I had not been the membership director prior to being president of our club, but really was passionate about seeing new members coming into our club and making sure that they have a really great experience coming in as the onboarding. I'm going to talk in kind of business terms sometimes because this is the way that I approach it as far as our membership to our club, because I found for the success that we've been able to have, and so far this year, I think we're going to be inducting our 19th member that will be inducted this next Wednesday. I know it's not as much as Amy's club, they're rocking it, and our e-club are doing just amazing. They're bringing in like 30 members, so it's great and it's important. But before I start talking about the best practices of bringing on new members, I first want to really emphasize something that Craig said, and that is that we must take care of the members that we have. A lot of times we're doing a net gain of how many members are we gaining by the end of the year. And if you have more people going out the back door than you have coming in the front door, you're just really kind of spinning on that wheel. And plus, it's important that we engage and take care of our existing members. So taking the time as the membership director to reach out to the members that we have to ask questions, whether it be a survey, whether it be that you ask your president to have a specific day that the members can just come together and talk about their experience about being members and some things that they would like to see to improve, if they need more education, if they need more leadership. Those things are really, really important when you're looking at making sure. And this is going to come from my farm girl background. I was born in New Mexico, raised in Missouri, and we had quite a few head of cattle and pigs. And as they say on the farm, it's much better to take care of the cows you have than to go out and buy new cows. So That's my little farm girl statement. With that being said, I would also say that your existing members are amazing ambassadors and recruiters for for getting new members. We loved the thing that Shaker, our Rotary International President Shaker this year implemented, the everyone bring one, a very simple concept that we were able to capitalize on quite effectively. We would determine days that we would have a really good speaker, and the weeks leading up to that particular meeting that we had a really good speaker, we would encourage all of our members to bring one person, just bring one friend. Everyone bring one friend. And when they would bring that person, and of course we're hoping that they're bringing somebody that would be a good fit for Rotary, they would also make sure that as the membership director, I was given that person's contact information, or I would take the contact information from the sign-up sheet, and I would follow up with all of those people that came to see if they might be interested in becoming a member. And that, from that point, is where it really kind of comes into what I call an onboarding process. Really simplified, we simplified ours, but it was consistently the same thing. So if a new prospect would come either via Craig sending me an email saying somebody had inquired via online, if someone brought a guest, if someone just sent an email to our club directly, I would take that information, their name, their number, their email address, and put it into, I have a project management system, but you can do this on Excel so that you can keep track of all these people. Because what I was finding is if I didn't do this, I would talk to somebody and then 3 weeks later, I'd forget who I talked to. So keeping it all in one place of who are the people that have had some interest, and then set times to make sure that you're connecting with them every couple of weeks, because not everybody's ready exactly when they first come in. The second part of the onboarding process is I had a very specific 3-step program. They visit club, we have coffee or lunch and have a discussion about Rotary, about their passions, what we are, what we're not, what the pricing and information is. At that point, I would give them the sign-up documents. And the step 3 was them filling out their documentation and me submitting it for approval with the clubs. So there's 1, 2, 3, always. You're gonna have a meeting. You're gonna come to the meeting, you're gonna have a meeting with me, we're gonna discuss what Rotary is about, and then I'm gonna follow up with you. Are you interested in joining? And that the interest would be that you fill out the documentation. Our documentation is simple. It's 1 page. It explains the pricing and the fee structure, and it gives us all the information they need to get into DACDB. I would be happy to share any of this with you guys if you do not have this as part of your process. Then it is a matter of follow-up, 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 follow-up. I follow up consistently with those until they tell me either yes or they tell me no. And it's not a bug, it's not a annoy, it's just, I just want to make sure that they've gotten all opportunities. Once someone has become a member, that doesn't stop there in our process of onboarding. We also have and I think many of the clubs do have the red badge, blue badge. So you have a list of things that you need to get done. What I've found is that if we just dump these new members in and let them figure it out themselves, they often get lost. They get lost in the conversations, they get lost in the acronyms, they get lost in the processes, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to ask, who to ask, and then they start feeling like, well, there's all these cliques and nobody's talking to me, and it becomes like high school. So what we have done is that we have about once a quarter, I have a breakfast and I invite everybody that's a new member and I say, you come sit down with me, all of you guys come sit down with me, and I'm gonna answer any question that you have. No question is, too silly. You wanna know what RILA means, you wanna know how to get on DACDB, you wanna know why we do this or we don't do that, That's fine. The president line is usually invited to that breakfast, and we literally just sit down and work through that blue badge list and any questions that they have, trying to give those new members as much of an opportunity as possible to get all the information they need to be successful in the club. That also includes helping them get hooked up with whatever their passion is. Now, way back in step one or step two, when I sit down and have a conversation with them, the first thing we talk about is that Rotary is not a networking organization. The second thing we talk about is, what is your passion? Is your passion children? Is it seniors? Is it veterans, military? What is your passion? And from there, I try to connect them with the committee I will personally introduce them to that committee and say, this particular member is really passionate about kids. She would love to come to your committee, youth director. When is the next meeting? Can you bring her in? That introduction often leads to just amazing first starts, because that's the hardest part, is for them to jump into this group of amazing Rotarians that are already very close and friendly with each other. And, it's kind of hard to get into that group. Again, it's like high school, trying to get into the cool kids club. You want to make sure that they're welcome into that. Those types of things have resulted in new members taking on projects, and one of them, the shelter box, for example. Amber is a new member. She got introduced to the International Club. That's where her passion is. She took on a position in that club and helped our International Club raise $12,000 for shelter box in the last couple of weeks. That's a new member that did that. And that's where we find success. So I hope that helps. Craig, is there anything else you wanted me to cover?
No, that was awesome. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Thank you,
Do you have anything
Judy.
to add in what you're doing right now in Palm Desert? These guys are doing a fantastic job adding on new members.
Well, I'm a little lost for words after Judy's beautiful presentation. We've had kind of a crazy year. The membership chair set a goal of 25 members. He put together a thermometer thing, and every time a new member came, he put the name of the new member and then the person that sponsored them. We have exceeded the 25 members. One of the things that we started again this year that I think has been very helpful is we're calling it the Academy. And it's a time when it's been an evening event. We invite all the new members to come. We have all the committee chairs speak on what the committees are. It's a way to get folks in one room talking with each other and understanding what we do as a club. Ricardo Loretto was supposed to be giving this part of the presentation, and I think he's responsible for at least half of our new members. Ricardo tends to give applications to anybody that walks through the door. So if we have a speaker and they seem like somebody that would be a great Rotarian, Ricardo corners them and gives them an application. Sometimes that works really well. Sometimes that backfires, but so far this year, it's been great. I personally had a woman call me up. Our husbands play pickleball together. She called me and she said, I want to do stuff in the community. What's this Rotary thing? And I thought, oh, okay. She said, I want to join. Well, she had no idea what Rotary is. So that was an interesting process for me, sitting down with her, explaining who we are, what we do, as Judy said, what the pricing is. And she jumped right in. She came to a couple of the first events that we had, community service events. She's backed off a little bit now. She's got some family stuff going on, but we had one gentleman somehow find us online, and he came to our first academy, knows nothing about Rotary, shows up to the academy, learns everything he needs to know about our club and about the history of Rotary. And again, he's been very involved. So in the last year, I think we've had a lot of people that are becoming more involved. We have an older club, and we have some folks that will never participate in it. They'll come to meetings, but they're not going to go out and do any of the service events we do. So I kind of see that as my challenge. I'm the president-elect. How do I get them involved? And I haven't figured that one out yet, but hopefully my team will help me with that. I wrote down some lists. So you're talking about hybrid meetings. we've had great success with hybrid meetings. We went to Zoom kind of immediately when COVID hit. We started hybrid, I think this last July. And as I was talking to Craig and Marilyn earlier, I think we have some members that would not come to club meetings if we didn't have hybrid available. So for us, that's been great. I know it doesn't work for everybody. We were incredibly fortunate. We had a very generous member who donated the funds to purchase all the AV stuff we needed, but that's worked well. What else? We've all talked about this. You have social events, you invite people to the social events. That's the thing, you know, most of the time people don't come to a business meeting and say, oh, I want to join this great organization. They come to, you know, we paint a house in Palm Springs and they say, oh, this is cool. This is the kind of thing I want to do. I help the community. We started a program again early in COVID. We call it Angels of Service. And we kind of not anywhere near the food distribution that Temecula does, but we decided that we could serve in some way. So twice a month, a group of us would go to the local Albertsons and we talked with the manager and the assistant manager and said, you know, we want to spend this amount of money. How can you help us make that money go further? And so we bought, it's kind of funny when you stand at the register and it just the price keeps going down and down and down. And, you know, he takes us to the back room and gives us good deals on the things that they're pulling off the shelves just because that store isn't selling them anymore. And then we have chosen 4 different food distribution charities in the area that we take the money to, or we take the food to. We've changed that up a little bit. We've changed our recipients. That has been a good way to get people involved in community service that maybe don't want to go paint a house or aren't quite sure what to do. It's also become a social time. We meet for coffee or lunch after the distribution. So that's been really, I think, a great opportunity for people. One of the things that the membership committee has done is a phone tree. So they've gone through and given people 3 names, and the expectation is that they're going to call these people that maybe they don't know. I don't know how well that's worked. I know we did it a couple years ago, and it was, for me, it was interesting. I called 4 people. 1 person never called me back. 1 person said, oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling. You know, I've been busy. This is why I haven't been able to come. You talked about younger members, Craig, and we were so excited a couple years ago. We had a young man join our club who had been, I think he was in Rotary. I think that was his history. And he had now graduated from college and he was starting in business, and he was so excited because now he was going to be a Rotarian. Well, he realized early on, we're a noon club, and he realized early on that this just was not going to work. So he drifted away from our club. We've reached out to him many times, and now he still wants to be engaged. So he's able to come on Zoom, which again, that's part of why Zoom is great for us. And he's getting involved in the club, even in a little bit, but it would have been a shame to lose him. We kind of all went overboard that, oh, we have this 25-year-old in our club. You know, it's changed the age of our club. We've done a couple interesting social events this last year. We have a gentleman in our club who has worked at the ports as a stevedore and a longshoreman and run the whole system. And so he gave us a talk one day on the whole supply chain issue in the country. And then we got to do a boat tour of the port of Long Beach, which was pretty amazing to see what has happened. And so we work really hard at interesting speakers. I don't know. I think that's about all I have to say. I am not expecting 25 next year, and I've told our membership chair that.
Amy, that was awesome. No, that's. I like the idea of having, you know, somebody, a handful of members calling 3 different unknowns and just talking about Rotary. You know, that's something that we haven't tried yet. So.
Well, no, those are members of the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just mostly it's folks we haven't seen in a while.
Oh, okay. That's great. No,
where are you? And yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Reaching back out. No.
Okay, if others of you have things you want to share, I'd ask you to raise your hand or use the little reaction hand up there, and
Tom Boyle has a question.
yeah, Tom, why don't you go ahead?
Hello.
Tom,
Tom, you-
Tom, you put yourself back on
On
mute.
mute.
Sorry. I thought I took that off.
No.
My previous experience with clubs has to deal with, and my issue is I bring you in to the club. In my book, it's not the responsibility of the membership committee to orientate me and educate me about why I am there and who you are. In my book and my previous experience, it is my responsibility for at least 6 months. I am your shepherd. I make sure that you get to the meetings and I lead you down the path to get you educated. I have gone on the international website, and it's interesting. I can't find anything on the website that says here are the sponsor's responsibilities towards a new member. Yes, I can find a document that says mentoring, but it still doesn't list what the responsibilities are. So my book, when somebody brings in a new member, that experienced person is bringing that person is his shadow for 6 months to make sure he's educated, or the club assigns him a sponsor. To me, it should be on an individual basis, because if that person can't get somewhere, like for his car broke down, that membership committee may not call. So he has to build a relationship up. That person is going to introduce him to other people. In my experience with clubs, people come in, it's even not noted in some of your documentation, they come into clubs for 2 reasons. What they can do to improve their communities through projects and to expand my friendship world. The friendship world is always hard. We think we're always open, but it's hard to come up to Craig and say, hey, I'd like to be your friend. That's why in ours, we created a roster that says, what are your 3 habits? What are your 3 hobbies? Because you may be in woodworking. There's my introduction. But I'm getting back to, I think it's important for clubs to make sure they have an individual to go to learn, and not so much leave it all to the membership committee.
That's a great,
I would agree. Yeah.
that's a great point, Tom. Mentor, partner, shadow, whatever you want to call it. Good idea. Somebody else. Mike, Connor.
Hi, Marilyn. This is Sonia from Hemet. How are you? How's everybody? Good, good. So I think my only input, with that, it's kind of right along the lines of what, was just said is when I first came to Rotary, I kind of feel like, like the education portion of it, the videos, there was a lot of stuff that I was not introduced to, and I kind of discovered it along the way. And that's because I, started discovering the website, the international page, and I was really intrigued by it. Our district governor actually started sending me stuff, and I just really dove in. So I appreciate that we're having these classes. I'm pretty much tied in for the rest of the month, and that's fine. But part of my year is to focus on the education part of it, because I believe that we need more of it. The more people learn, the more people see how we're operating and having successes, then I believe that more people will start engaging on using the website for education.
There's another good source of educating new members, and that's right. That is RLI, which is 3 Saturday sessions where you can learn absolutely everything you need to know about Rotary, get a little bit more familiar with it, learn some of the acronyms. It took me 3 years to figure out most of the acronyms, but we do talk in acronyms, and it's a very good introduction. So keep your eye out for announcements about RLI. I think there's one on May 18th. I think that's the right date. So that's a good way to get your new members on board. It's a 3-part thing, so they can go to part 1, part 2, part 3. Mike Renner, you wanted to add in on the conversation.
Yes, I would agree with what Tom said about being a shadow of somebody. I was a member of a club, and my sponsor helped me with that. And I got really intimidated in the beginning with this particular club because there was so much going on. He just told me, just do what you can do. You don't have to be overwhelmed by everything that's going on there. And not the club you were president of, Marilyn, but the one before that I was.
Thank you, Mike.
No, and so the other thing with me, my thing is I belong to Rancho Mirage Chamber. I'm a ambassador. I also belong to Palm Desert Chamber, and what Craig was saying about all that. And then I'm also on the city of on a commission of Rancho Mirage. So I meet all kinds of people, and what I'm really good at is inviting people to be speakers. And we had a speaker we invited last week. I had no idea she wanted to join. She saw the group, and she filled out the application and put it in. So, but I just can invite. That's kind of what I do, you know. And so she's going to be there tomorrow. She's real excited. So, anyways, that's all I had to say.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Yeah.
David Wick, you have your hand up.
Hello there. Yes. So David Wick, president of the Rotary E-Club of World Peace. So we're a virtual club and have been pre-COVID. And so that was just an easy move. We just do what we do. So we always meet via Zoom on Tuesday evenings. And what we've really been very successful at is just having outstanding speakers. Every week, we just have amazing people who've done tremendous things out in the world and are drawn to that kind of a focus of really service. It is a local and international focus. And a couple of things that we do. One is that Rudy Westervelt, that everybody who shows up is greeted. So everyone is greeted and via Zoom and feels part of this, connected. Outstanding speakers, and we invite the speakers at the end of the meeting to consider joining us. And they also put in the chat, which is coming up on the April 23rd, and this is a big deal. This is it's the heat of the heart of peace, unifying our world through music. This is a fundraiser for the disaster response fund for the Ukrainian refugees. And we're reaching out all across Rotary, but this is something that the members can feel some pride in and reach out for other people. So it's really having a high level of value to people's experience to come in.
That's really interesting. You're one of the few clubs I know about who has a primary focus. So yours is peace, and I know one that is primarily focused on the environment. And there's a risk in doing that because you may not appeal to everybody. But then on the other hand, the people who do come in are very much already dedicated to your theme, your goal, your cause, your passion. So excellent. I've got Judy and then Vicky.
All right, thank you again. I just wanted to mention, I don't know how many of you guys are using this. This is something that we purchased off of Russell Hampton and is part of our new member packet. I kind of found this poking around one day. And this is to your question. When I came into Rotary about 20 years ago, we had the ABCs of Rotary, and that's what I was looking for. This has been updated to this little book called Rotary Basics, and in it, it has a lot of really great information and a lot of the acronyms and such. So whenever we have our new Rotarians come in, they get this as their new member packet, which also includes a pen and a challenge coin and all this great stuff, and the sticker for their car, etc. I think this thing is like about $8. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's about $8. So I just wanted to mention this. This can be helpful in helping them understand the Rotary Basics and have something that they can refer to if you're not already giving something like this to them.
Excellent point. Excellent. Well, that's a great new member packet. I believe that's what that's called, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we have Vicky, and then Tom has his hand up again.
Hi, everyone, Marilyn and y'all. Great information. I'm the president of the Menifee Club right now. I'm also going to be the membership chair next year. So we're inducting, and good news is we're inducting 7 new people, 2 new members tomorrow. So yay,
Wow.
at our club. So, and we had 4 that we've inducted during the year. So we're hopefully growing, we're hopefully going to grow and grow more. You said something to me that that piqued my interest, because we have some older, not older in that, but let me say experienced Rotarians in our club, and the process that they ask us to go through, or I've been trained by them, and maybe I missed a training on, Zoom meeting going forward, but that you don't just, what's intriguing me is that some of you said when they come to a meeting, you give them an application. And the process that we've been going through is you ask them to a meeting, and not until they've been to 2 meetings do you propose, the board proposes them to the membership, and the membership has to, so that, that's the way my late husband was a Rotarian forever. So I like the idea of maybe cutting that, process in just having the application. What is the rule of thumb? I'm asking now that I'm almost out of office, but I'd love to know what it is going in as membership chair.
I think there are as many different ways of doing that as there are clubs. Your bylaws should contain a process by which potential members are invited, or and specify, do they need to come to 2 meetings, 3 meetings, 4 meetings? What's your vetting process? Who interviews them? You don't sign up somebody just because they can fog a mirror so that you can raise up your membership numbers. We all went through that a few years ago, and then they quickly went out the back door. So it wasn't a very productive process. It should require some time. It should be an interview process where you get to know them and find out, oh, do they really want to come here for business networking, or do they want to have a part in serving the community and finding what their passion is, as Craig has so eloquently put it. So I think it depends on your club's process. It should be specified in your bylaws, and you should be knowledgeable about the person, perhaps through an application that they fill out, about what it is they want, why they want to join Rotary, and then they should probably come to a few meetings first. So Vicki, not a very clear answer, but it depends on the club.
Can I add something to that too?
That's an attorney answer, Marilyn. It depends. And Craig, I wanted to say to you, we're in Menifee, call on us. We'd love to help you with some of your projects.
We would love to collaborate with you guys, get you and Elsinore and Marietta involved. And I want to mention something real quick for those of you that are in cities that have multiple Rotary clubs. If you interview some, so if Judy goes through and she's vetting a potential member and she notices that they're not maybe a good fit for our club for whatever reason, then we're trying to pass it on to the other Rotary clubs so we don't lose them as a member altogether. So if you guys can do that, that'd certainly be appreciated. And I know that Carrie's had her actual hand up for a long time. And so I'm going to call on past District Governor Carrie here real quick.
And after Carrie, I have one announcement to make, and then with the remaining time, we'll go right back to hands up. Thank you, Craig. Great point.
I just want to say that I agree with Judy. Our club has been using literally the welcome packet for a long time. And we have in the packet the bylaws, the roster of members. We have things in like the history about what we've done the last few years, so have some kind of amount. We have Rotary acronyms. We play a game now this year. We've been doing this off and on. We actually have the club divided into 2 or 3 teams, and the president throws out acronyms, and then it's just a fun thing who answers. And then your reward is candy bars. Not real good for the dentist, but not necessarily good for us. But anyway, lots of things you can, and they do a really good job. Russell Hampton does a good job in this. And we also have a president's welcome letter. So when they look at this packet, I tell them, don't panic. All you have to do is read it till you go to sleep every night, and then you'll get through it by the end of the year. But I agree with some things that are very interesting. My club has, how do you say it, an area that we're failing. Just about all new members are brought in by 2 of us, even though we have 8 members on the membership committee. For some reason, people have fears of, and I probably, to be honest with you, I see my dear friend Michelle, the incoming president of my husband's club. I would probably send more people to your club than last year. You have more members that came to me first, and I said 7 o'clock in the morning, they go, What? 7 o'clock in the morning. If they're retired, they don't want to do that. So go to my husband's club, go visit Bob's club. I think it's very important that we help each other in that sense, okay? But the other thing I want to implore, it is wonderful to get new members. It is wonderful to get younger members. We're actually inducting a young member this in the next 2 weeks, and she's 30 years old. And it's her first business, and Rotary she has an opportunity of having Rotarians mentor her. She's extremely, extremely talented in her own field, but not necessarily real good about business affairs out there. And I see Rotarians will be great help for her. She's a vocal specialist that teaches. She started a vocal studio, and it's a business world out there. She needs a lot of that help. So it's a two-way street. But on the other hand, she's a teacher. She has a master's degree. She has worked with students. She could help with our programs. So new, exciting young people are wonderful to have in. We have a program in our club you might consider. We have a program where individual Rotarians decide they will sponsor a Rotarian that is starting in this, and we've had a scholar last 2 years. He's now totally on his own, doing his own thing. And we're gonna, I will be sponsoring her sponsor. So that's the new, she's Hispanic, she's young, she's female, she's gorgeous. We have, I can see Judy smiling already. That they're just she's the other end. But my biggest concern in my Rotary Club is that we have forgotten the rule of 85. There's a whole pressure about pressing our people that fall into the rule of 85 to attend the meetings and to be very active. There are check writers, there are people in their 80s. But is how many years you've been in Rotary and how old are you? It's a rule of 85 that still applies very strongly in Rotary. We need to honor those people that have served, that they are the check writers. Yes, they are. They can't go out there and paint somebody's house. They don't paint their own house, so they can't do that. We need to not dump. And I'm sorry, I am 82 years old. I'm the oldest in my club, and I don't feel like I need to be dumped. And
no, nobody. Yeah, Carrie. So that was misconstrued the way it was being explained. But yeah, when I say we need to get younger, never would I say I want to get rid of our current Rotarians. I mean,
oh, Greg, I'm not talking about you. I'm not.
No. I mean,
talking about that pressure.
In general, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, the pressure on the seniors when they keep asking me, why don't they come to the meeting? Why don't they do this and do that? I think they have earned their place, and I try to remind people they've earned their place.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm happy to help.
Carrie, we're going to have to move on.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
And I would encourage you to go into the chat room and explain a little bit more about the rule of 85. And if you are looking for information, you can always Google a Rotary topic and find it sometimes much faster than if you go to the RI website. Am I screen sharing with you all?
Yes, you are.
Right. I promised I would give a promotion for the Rotary District Conference coming up May 13th and 14th. It is at Fantasy Springs Resort in Indio. It is an event to gather together. There will be many, many awards given out to clubs. Our featured speaker is Vicki Pillitz. She is our Rotary International Director, and I'm here to tell you she is a dynamo. So this is District 5330's conference. We have one of the chairs for the conference on the call. Jackie Chapman, you're there. You can wave your hand when I stop sharing here in a minute. So register today. If you don't know how to get on and register, call me or text me or email me. I will send you the directions. It is a bit of a challenge. Okay. I have 7 o'clock, and I promised that we would start on time and end on time. I know that many of you have so much more to share, and you may have questions for each other. So what I'm going to do is send out to everybody, unless you object, your email address so that you can stay in contact with each other. If you don't want that shared, then please let me know. And so I won't make you go onto the district website, DACDB, and find each other. I'll make it just a little bit easier. Craig, you did a fantastic job. Thank you. You generated so much conversation, as well as giving us good information about what your club does. Thank you to Judy and Amy for sharing what your clubs do. I think Amy got called on at the last minute to
Yeah.
and she did a fine job. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you got information that you wanted today, and send your thanks, questions perhaps to Craig. I'm sure he has a lot more information he can share with you that he couldn't get done in this short period of time. Have a good evening. See you guys soon.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.